Hey guys, Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with another Shiunji Family Children episode review for you guys. And man, that post-credit scene, man, or that end credit scene where you just have it to where you see just like a little bit into the future, just kind of like quintessential quintuplets. You see obviously a future Futuro with one of the sisters um being married, and the same thing is happening here. You see a future Arata with a daughter named after his mom called Chihiro or Chihiro, and you see a character walking, which is the mom. And yeah, now in this scene, well, actually, no. Let's talk about the episode. The episode was crazy funny. You get two instances where two sisters have these like moments with Arata, and then you have it to where basically you have a conversation between Arata and his dad, as well as the sisters, well, having an essential, a interesting interaction. So, anyways, the first part of the episode is, Arata looking at Seiha, and Seiha kind of looks like kind of upset or sad and everything, and she's just wondering like, and she, Arata's like, I hope she's okay. Like, she's been brooding and everything. She just hasn't been acting like herself. And then that's when at first, like, he's like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, why? Is there something wrong? And then he at first, Arthur's gonna walk away and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this issue alone. No, he doesn't. He comes back and he actually is like, all right, look now. You're acting strange, you're acting weird, you're acting distant. I just want to see if you're okay and everything. And she's like, okay, sure. And she legitimately starts playing Twister with this dude. And Arndt is like, I'm not going to go with this, do this. And he's like, why would I play Twister with my sister? Now, personally, if you ask me, I don't see where the issue is, but the man was getting flustered because of all the revelations and everything at hand. We've seen like clearly Arata's getting flustered and he's trying to or shut down his sisters from trying to make advances in on him. Clearly, at some point, because we see the future how that plays out, he's going to completely eventually fall for one of the sisters. I don't know. So we'll see. Anyways, so what ends up happening? So in terms of what's happening, they're just playing Twister, and Art is getting very flustered, like with the positions that and Seiha is getting in. Like there's one position where her legs are legitimately spread out right then and there, and another position where her basically she's sticking her ass right in front of him. And I'm just and the dude is doing his best to like try to not do like something or get caught in the wrong way or in something. In the meantime, Seiha's speaking, talking about all these different things, like, what lead, the stuff, about like sex and oxytocin and all these things, I guess, that goes into like love making and shit like that. And Arata is just like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? My sister is talking crazy. She's my older sister and she's talking like this. Eventually, like, she falls over and her ass literally falls on his face, like, legitimately. And basically, I was just like, you did that on purpose, didn't you? And she's like, no, my muscles just gave out. And she's like, and he's like, your ass was in my face. And she's like, well, I didn't mean to do that. My muscles just gave out. That's why I didn't move over to the side. I'm sorry. And she basically is like, well, I got the answers that I was looking for. And I'm just like, I don't know if this girl is curious about that stuff, because Arata does remember when she said, like, technically, like, you could have like a sexual relationship with us since we aren't, related to each other. Well, it's clear that we know that eventually Arata is going to sleep with one of the sisters, because how is he going to conceive a child, right? Anyways, um, frankly, it's clear, in terms of Seiha, she clearly has some feelings there. So yeah. Anyways, this then leads to the second part, and that's when Oka comes in. She's like, "Hey, I want to go play some game. I want to play some games, right?" So she starts playing. So they start playing like games. I guess it's their version of Super Smash Brothers, right? Basically, you can have it to where freaking you just have it to where Arata's kind of like he's clearly not trying. He's letting Oka win it. Oka's like literally kicking his ass and beating him. She's all happy and everything. And I mean, and Arata's realizing like she's getting closer to him yet, and she's not really realizing that she's moving, right? Eventually what happens is Arta's like, well, okay, I guess the jig is up now. So he actually starts beating her consistently, and she's like, wait, what the hell is going on? How did you get good out of the blue? And he's like, I don't know, maybe it's just luck. So she's like, all right, I'm gonna go take a restroom break, right? So it looks like she's gonna go do that, but then she starts putting this dude in a freaking chokehold, and she literally starts wrapping her body around him in a chokehold, and like basically put him in a submission hold. And Arj is getting flustered from this standpoint because he's just like, I can feel her boobs. I can feel basically her private area, rubbing all up against me like this. And eventually he's like, okay, enough of this. And he basically pins her down to the ground. He pins her down to the ground. He's on top of her, literally. And his hands are basically grasping her hands. And they're just looking. He's realizing, and then she's realizing, and they're looking at each other in this mood. And you get your typical thing where it's like, oh, is this man gonna go in and maybe get closer and maybe try to go in for a kiss and kiss his sister, right? But you have it to where Oka's like, I see, you're a man now. And Art's like, wait, what the heck are you? What do you mean? What did you say? And what do you mean by that? And she basically like, all right, enough. So she gets up and then she basically leaves, right? She's like, I'm done for the day anyways. But as she leaves, she's basically all, it's clear she knows like what happened and everything between them. And she's clearly flustered. She's blushing a lot. And simply, she's like, basically kind of telling, just saying, I hope next time he takes the initiative. I guess I'm guessing what she was thinking is, I'm guessing she wants him to clearly go like, I don't know if she wants him to go all the way with him or her, but it's clear like she was thinking like maybe the dude's just gonna like give her a kiss on the lips or something the next time she's in that position. Now, the interesting thing is after Arata leaves the room and turns the lights off, we see that Kotono um was also in there and he saw it again. This girl is like peeping Tom on every damn sister. I don't know, bruh. I don't know. She just appears. So anyways, you have this conversation between Arata and his father, and they're just talking about, Arata's father asks like, so have you found that special someone? And Arata's like, that's a weird question to ask me, but no, I haven't. Everything. And then he talks about how like, well, how did you meet mom and everything? And he's like, well, I met mom because she was beautiful and everything. That's why I married her. And he's like, and Arata's like, can you not? And essentially he's just like, well, it's because of the woman she was is the reason why I married her. And that's what we find out her name is. We found out her name was Shahio. And her hair looks, honest to God, similarly to that of similarly to that of well, Arata, I guess you can say so. Is it that Art is actually blood related to his mother? I don't know. We do know that we do know that Shion and Kotono, they are related siblings, like blood related siblings. So that's that. In the meantime, while this conversation was going on, the sisters are watching, I guess, this romance drama show about this guy confessing to this crush, but then they bring up like how they would want their ideal like guy to basically ask them out, or just their ideal type of preference in a dude, which it led to funny interactions. But as they're walking out, that's when Kotono, she basically, after the Bonri stuff, the past few episodes, the Seiha stuff, which I don't think she's seen, the Minimi leaving out the text in in their thread, and then clearly seeing the Ouka stuff, right? It's very much clear that Kotono's like, my sisters are shooting their shot at this man, this boy that I like, and I'm not gonna let them. And she just straight up says like, "Hey, I'm in love with Arata," and they're like, "Yeah, we know you're in love with Arata. We've been knowing." And she's like, "Enough of the shit. I'm not talking about I love him as a brother. I love him romantically as a man, and I'm not gonna let you beat me, and you're my rivals." Because clearly she knows, like, all these sisters have been shooting their shot at him, and it's clear that one of all the sisters, now that they have the realization, like, well, we're technically not blood related, they all have the hots for Arata. It's clear that we can tell that Bonri has some feelings towards him. Seiha, we don't know, but she straight up did say, like, well, you could have sexual relationships with us. So maybe she does have feelings for Arata, maybe probably more in a sexual way, I guess, is crazy enough. It's very much clear that Ouka is clearly in love with Arata. Ever since the truth was revealed to her about them not being siblings, she's been acting very different when it comes to him. And it's very much clear that, like, no, she is probably in the same boat as Kotono, where she actually madly is in love with Arata. And because she did take very much offense to Kotono confessing her feelings and everything, right? So yeah, and then Minami is kind of the exception. So far, we haven't seen her show any feelings at all, which I feel like she potentially could be the wild card in this entire thing. Because if I'm comparing this to quintessential quintuplets, even though it's done by two different authors, right? Yotsuba was basically kind of the one odd girl out where it's clear, like, you could tell the other four sisters were crushing hard on our boy, and Yotsuba was like the one girl that, like, in all it's like was the one girl in all exception that you didn't know she was crushing on. It felt like she just viewed Futaro more as a best friend, right? But Minami honestly could be the wild card because she has not revealed to show any feelings, and the same thing kind of was with Yotsuba in quintessential quintuplets. So that's the thing. Now, personally, if you ask me, I wouldn't be mad if Minami win, but personally, if you ask me, I don't want her to win because it's like I don't really see the correlation there, but okay. But this then leads into a future scene, a fast forward to the future, where we see a little girl with white hair basically talking to this adult, and then eventually you see it to where you see Arata show up, and she's like, "Daddy," and I'm just like, "Oh, here we go." It's clear he has a daughter with somebody, right? And in this whole monologue, there is a letter being written to the sisters, and it's one of the sisters who clearly has married Arata and had a kid, which Kotono also in her statement says, "I'm going to marry Arata," right? Right? So one of the sisters clearly is writing to the other sisters, talking about everything, hoping that they're all okay and that they found love somewhere as well and that they're doing fine and everything. And at the end of this letter, it says, "To my sisters, we don't see the name who it is," right? Or to my siblings, we don't see who the name it is. And we see this one girl, one of the sisters, is walking because Chihio, who the daughter is actually named after their mom, right? Shihio essentially says "Mama," and basically they both look up. We see a woman walking. We don't see the face. Well, we don't. The only thing that the face we see is the lips. We can't tell who it is based off the eyes. The hair, it's short hair, so I don't know what the heck happened, right? And it's obviously their adult selves, right? So we don't know who it is. Also, of all the hairs whited out between Arata, Shihio, and one of the whoever, whatever sister that is, the hair is all whited out to show like, okay, this is we can't tell now. I don't know why they whited out Arata's hair, unless he had a hair color change over this time skip where it just changed from brown to white. I don't know why they whited out his hair. I don't see anything, but it makes sense why they whited out the daughter and whoever sister's hair it is, because if you just show who the hair color is, well, you'll know who that sister who ended up winning. And more than likely, I'm just guessing, if they whited out the daughter's hair, more than likely the daughter has the exact same hair color as clearly one of the sisters. Now the sister, their kid has pigtails, so you could think it may be Ouka. I don't know. The short hair, who knows? Now, Minami is so far the only dead giveaway because she's the one character that has the shortest hair. But again, who's to say that maybe one of the sisters just gets a hair change, right? Seiha could have cut her hair to short length. Ouka, when you take away the pigtails, she has fairly long hair, right? She could have cut her hair. Kotono could have cut her hair. Bonri could have cut her hair. Plain and simple, we'll see who wins. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't even know how long this show is going to run in terms of like how many seasons we get. We'll see, but I was just like, oh shit, we're already getting this thing. So at first when I saw the discussion between Arata and his dad, I was thinking like, oh, this is gonna be the part where the dad tells him, hey, you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have to marry one of these girls, one of your sisters. So we'll see. And then two, like, obviously he's paying homage to his mother because, well, clearly, both one of the sisters and Arata are paying respect to their mom, calling the daughter Chihiro. So who knows? We'll see. I'm guessing this is going to be the start where the sisters start to show more emotion and more romance and start to fight over Arata. Now knowing that Kotono basically made the statement saying like, I love my brother and I don't give a shit. You're all my rivals, so stay the fuck away from him. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get down and dirty, right? So it'll be interesting to see where we go on from now, but I think now there's gonna be the part where the sisters, they're gonna start freaking they're gonna be starting like, I want that Arata-kun D. So yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna go for guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Shiunji Family Children episode reviews and things like that. But till then, guys, catch you guys in the next video and see you guys later. Peace.